Hello, once again, everyone. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Rockstar Chronicles Series 1, my new book featuring over 45 intimate conversations with the greatest music legends the world will ever know. Available now at bookbaby.com and amazon.com. With a collection of over 21 albums, it's no wonder Gary Hoey is listed as one of the top 100 guitarists of all time. The world-renowned rock guitarist first break came in 1987 when Ozzy Osbourne liked Hoey's tape enough to fly him to LA for an audition and encouraging him to move to the West Coast. 1990, Hoey was signed to Reprise Records with a short-lived band called Heavy Bones, but followed up in 1993 with a solo album. And Gary's cover of Hocus Pocus rocketed into the Billboard's top 5 rock tracks. He went on to score the successful Endless Summer 2 soundtrack for New Line Cinema. And in 1995, started a trilogy of Ho Ho Hoey, a collection of instrumental Christmas classics that continue each year in his Rockin Holiday shows. Gary's release in 2016, Dust and Bones, displayed an exuberant fusion of blues and rock. But whatever style he plays, one thing is certain: Gary Hoey's a fiery, charismatic player who connects with the crowd. Whether he's playing scorching originals or classic rock covers, his solos are thrilling and reminiscent of Clapton or Stevie Ray Vaughan in their fiery youth. One thing that remains consistent is Hoey's impassioned command of the guitar. He can attack his instrument with feral intensity and then play something very soft and achingly beautiful. The ability to mix feeling, phrasing, technique, and tone is the true mark of a master guitarist. Please welcome rock and blues guitarist, singer, songwriter, and producer Gary Hoey to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
We're doing good, man. Where are you calling from today?
I'm actually calling from my home studio here in the woods of New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. Cool. How's the weather up there?
Well, we've been getting some pretty cold, some cold spells coming through for sure. It's been cold.
Are you getting snow?
Yes, we just got our first sort of big, fair, I guess snowstorm you'd call it. We just got our first one. And I was in Florida when it happened, so I wasn't here.
Lucky you.
I missed it.
Well, as you know, I'm in Florida. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. You just left Deerfield Beach. Let's see, January 6th through 9th, you had the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, yes, which you're a director of, correct?
Well, I was the music director for a long time. This camp, I was a counselor. Brett Lightnin from Vixen has been the MD, right, doing the music directing gig. But yeah, I'm one of the counselors, and I help her with whatever she needs help with.
Now, there's a lot of rock and roll fantasy camps. I know there's one in Vegas. I think there's one in LA. Do you only do the Deerfield Beach ones, or how's that work?
No, I've done a bunch of them. I'm actually coming up. I'll be doing another one at Deerfield Beach, I think, with Joe Perry. And then they're doing a Vegas one, which I will be going to. And I've done a bunch in LA. I've done some in various locations, because the cool thing is sometimes they bring it, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camps bring it to a different location to kind of give it a different spin and give people, a different venue, environment and things like that. So I travel around with them when I can.
These things are cool, man. And they've really expanded. I mean, it started out with one. It's what's his name? Dave Fishoff. Is that his name?
Yes.
Fishoff, right?
Dave Fishoff was the CEO, and he was he managed Ringo Starr for years from the Beatles, and he a lot of sports celebrities, and that's where he got the idea of doing this, because he had Ringo's all-star band, and he was bringing in all these celebrities who wanted to play with Ringo, and he's parlayed that one day and said, what if we just let everyday people come and jam with rock stars, like kind of like a pro golf thing or a pro, camp for playing with professional baseball players, whatever your thing is. This is sort of that, but with music.
Well, I love it. I did a fantasy camp with the Orioles back in 1990, and in 91, Joan Jett did the same camp I did with the Orioles, which was pretty cool. But really cool. These rock and roll fantasy camps, I'm going to do one of these, because I play a little guitar. But you don't have to be a proficient guitar player. Is that right?
Correct. We have people that are beginners, intermediate, advanced, and we actually make it work. It's unbelievable. In the same band, we'll have various levels of musicians, and we make it work. It's incredible how in 48 hours we all get in a room and everyone's sort of scared to death, and then in a couple hours we're having a great time and just bonding and connecting. And you know how music is; it brings people together on a level that's sort of in the soul. You know, it's deeper. So, and we make everybody feel great and comfortable. We don't intimidate anybody. So yeah, I've had I walked in a room one time and a guy said, "I'm in the wrong room." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Everybody here is better than me, and I only know 3 chords." I said, "Don't worry, you're in the right room." I said, "By Monday, you're going to be rocking and rolling." And he stayed in the room. And then at the end of the week, he says, "You know what? You were right. I fit right in." So that's what happens at camp.
Now, you guys actually play a gig at the end of camp. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Yes, we spend 2 days rehearsing, and then on the 3rd day we played Johnny Brown's in Delray Beach, which was such a great venue. It had an outdoor atmosphere, and then we played the beautiful Hard Rock Hotel Casino with that nice guitar shaped thing. And we played the I guess they have a gig up on the, it's like a loft outdoor patio. And again, we wanted to keep it outdoors to keep it safe for everybody. So we were outdoors, and it was beautiful, man. And Steve Morris from Deep Purple came down. He played with 9 bands. He was so gracious. He played with every single band on stage. So yeah, the second last 2 nights are live performances, and that's what makes it special.
It is a lot like fantasy camp from the when I played with the Orioles, because we had double headers every day, and then the top teams would play against the pros, and that would be the kind of the position how you would play the pros. Like we went to the championship, but we lost, so we were second playing against the pros. but
I don't mean I hope you lost, but if you're going against the pros, I hope you lost. Pros versus Joes, you know what I'm saying?
A couple of them struck out. Like Brooks Robinson struck out once or twice, and yeah, I don't know if they were faking it or what, but
well, I will tell you this: whether it's in the camp you were in or the camp I was in, there were some people that showed up that could throw down, that could play really good, and there was a young drummer who could go on tour tomorrow. So we do have people come through that are really talented. And one guy came in, I heard him play. I said, "Man, you should make an album. You sound great." And then 2 years later, he made an album. So
wow, that's incredible.
Really cool.
How do you get these guys that just come in there and they're not very good polished by the big show? How do you do that? Do you teach them a couple of bar chords, or make them do a small lead, or how's that work?
We'll simplify, we try to simplify it as much as we can.
Right.
And sometimes we'll pick a different song for the live show than what we might do with one of the headlining guests like Steve Morse. We played Smoke on the Water, which is, everyone thinks it's a simple song, but when it gets past that riff, man, there's a lot going on once you get into the song. Exactly. So, live, we just played a 3-chord song. We played Knocking on Heaven's Door, And it just made it fun, and we had a good time. And that's what I told my band. I said, let's just have fun live. And we played like Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones, because, I mean, if you, I got my guitar right here.
Oh,
but if you start going, I mean, the place just goes crazy, and my guitar player, he wasn't a shredder, but I said, man, just grab the Chuck Berry right here. And I said, do the grinder. I call it the grinder. And you got instant Rolling Stones, Keith Richards.
That's awesome, man. Do you guys have a vocalist as well?
Yeah, we had singers come in, and if someone, if a band didn't have a singer, then we would help them out, and maybe someone would sing in another band, or we actually had some crew people that were really talented too that came up and helped us out. So there were camaraderie. People sing background vocals to, if they need it. It's whatever we have to do for each other. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm eventually going to do it, and I know I'll do it at Deerfield because I'm in Bradenton, so I don't have to travel that far.
Well, you'll love it. It's at the Marquee Studios, and they're beautiful rehearsal studios, the nicest I've ever seen. So you'll have a good time.
Yeah, I want to mention the last camp had Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, Richie Faulkner, Judas Priest, and also, like you mentioned, Steve Morse, which was an incredible lineup.
We had Nico from Iron Maiden.
Okay.
And Ricky from Judas Priest actually did not physically make it. He had some health issues.
Okay.
So he didn't make it, but he did a beautiful Zoom lesson with a Zoom thing with us where he hung out with us for like a half hour and talked to everybody and said, I'm sorry I can't be there. It was really sweet.
Now you got another one coming up, right? March 10th. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm doing. What do I got coming up? I'm doing the Rock Legends cruise in February. I'm heading
Right.
out on that, and then in March I will have some more rock camps. Yeah.
Now this camp, the next one coming up for all the listeners out there, Joe Perry, who has a house here in Florida, not too far from me as well. So that makes sense that he would go to Deerfield. He'll be there. And also Vernon Reid of Living Color. Is that right?
Yeah, love Vernon.
And a couple of guys that I know, Joe will be on drums, Joe Vitale, and Vinny Appice as well.
Yes.
Both of those guys I've had on the show. Nice guys, really good guys. Yeah. So that one will be coming up for everybody on March 10th through 13th. Now, are there other camps? I mean, all year or what?
Yeah, we're spreading them out all through the year.
Wow.
David's been announcing them all. They're even doing a women only camp where they're having
good idea.
Just some really cool female artists. And so, yeah, if people go to rockcamp.com or Google it, they can check it out and see what's up there, and then we'll keep them posted.
Well, two of my favorite women, I've interviewed Lita a couple of times. She was supposed to be in my book, but they never got back to me on that. She even interviewed for my book. Okay. She did a special interview for the book, but I couldn't get a hold of her PR people to approve it, and she never got in the book. But you and Lita Ford have done, and the first time I interviewed Lita was on the album that you worked with her on.
Living Like a Runaway,
which was a great album, by the way. I think it's one of her best.
Thank you so much. I thought she did an awesome job, and we loved working together on that. And that was really fun.
And another one of my favorite women rockers, blues rockers, is Beth Hart, who you've also worked with.
Yes, Beth's amazing. Yeah, we did a tour together in Europe, and she was just so gracious to take me out there with her. And we did a version of I'd Rather Go Blind, which is one of my favorite live performances I've ever done in my life. I'm not even kidding you.
Huh.
I mean, I went on tour with Jeff Beck, but it's like playing with Beth Hart was like just that song to share it with her on the stage was, one of my favorites. Okay, and maybe jamming with Brian May from Queen. Okay, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. You said you went on the road with Jeff Beck?
I did. Opened up for Jeff in 2010. Wow. I did a tour with Jeff.
That's incredible. Huh. The other deal I wanted to promote, of course, is the Rock Legends Cruise, which is February 14th and 18th. Lucky you.
Oh, I'm so excited to go, man. I keep praying it's not going to get canceled, with everything going on.
I know.
I keep hearing like this artist dropped off. I'm like, no.
Oh, no.
But, we're looking good so far. We're ready to go. And so I'm excited about that. We have a great lineup. Deep Purple. I'll see Steve Morse again on that one. And
unbelievable.
Lita Ford's going to be on there, and Warrant, and tons of. They just had a Foghat and a bunch of bands.
Yeah, I'm going to mention some of the bands because usually this thing is sold out. I don't know about this time because of the COVID issues, and we got some friends that just went on a cruise and it was only half filled. I mean, things are changing a bit. I know there's
people selling cabins. If somebody is looking for one, I know there's some people selling them
because this thing's always sold out like a year ahead of time.
It is.
Yeah. Well, you got Deep Purple, Styx, Don McLean, Don Felder. Those guys have been on my show. Blue Oyster Cult. Randy's been on the show. Randy Bachman. The Outlaws, Warrant. Nice. Of course, you mentioned Lita Ford. Ozark Mountain Daredevils. The Fabulous Thunderbirds, good friends of mine as well. George Lynch, Artemis Pyle, who's also been on the show. Of course, you. It's going to be incredible, man. I call it Woodstock on the high seas,
That's awesome.
I love it. Is this your first one or have you done this before?
No, I've been going on them for years now.
Really?
I think this is either my fifth or sixth.
Wow.
And what's been keeping me back on the ship, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I took over the jam for Marshall Tucker. Tucker was hosting this Saturday Night All-Star Jam, which was literally legendary, Ray. Like, they would have all the celebrities on the boat come down and have, these crazy jams that you'd never see ever again. And I went and played with Marshall Tucker, at one of the first cruise I did. And then one year they were like, we can't do it. We're not going to be here. And my friend Michael Weinstein, who's the agent who books all the talent, Michael said, Gary, man, do you want do you want to host the jam? Because I do a lot of stuff with Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and somehow I'm like good at corralling rock stars. I don't know what it is with me. I'm like, it's like herding cats. I'm like, no, you're going to do this. And they're like, no, we're going to do that. I'm like, come on, please. So I get them to do what hopefully they're going to do. And I just invite people down, and I tell them, man, whatever you want to play, let's do it. And I treat people good and make them feel fun, have a good time. So I've been hosting the jam the last several years, and it's been, just epic.
It is epic, man. I've got to do this. I think I'm waiting for the COVID thing to die down again, if it ever will. And then my wife and I've already told her about the cruise. She wants to do it as well. So that's the best one, by the way. There's a lot of cruises, rock cruises, music cruises. This is the best one. I mean, it's got the biggest
it does
lineup.
Have a good lineup. I mean, I'm a little biased, but there's some other great ones out there. But I mean, I got to say, Ray, just doing this thing with Rock Camp, we had 100 people there. And we did temperatures every day. We answered questionnaires every day. We had different colored wristbands, like yellow, then red, then blue. So every day we had a code. And, people were really safe. And, we were able to be there and have a good time. I came home, got tested, no COVID. Mm-hmm. So just, I just think the news makes everybody feel like there's no chance, no hope. Right. I mean, if people are compromised, please don't go out and be safe. But if you're healthy and you've been protected, I think we can do it.
Are they checking for your vaccination card before you go on the cruise or no?
Yeah, we all have to get our cards, and get them in there. It's unfortunate that some people don't want to be vaccinated. They don't want to have the situation. And my next door neighbor actually can't. He has a physical thing where he can't get vaxxed. Right. So I hate when people get discriminated because some people actually can't.
Right. So
right. I love everybody, but he's, and then also we have to get a negative COVID test. We have to get a test, a COVID test. Okay. And be negative before we get on the ship. So I hate being incredible. Negative, but with the COVID test, I'll be negative.
Yeah. There's so much music on there, man. I mean, you don't even have to go to another concert in your lifetime and you're fulfilled after this cruise.
It's so true, Ray. I got to tell you, the first time I went on Rock Legends, I couldn't believe it because it was 4 days of music where I saw bands that I had never got to see growing up. Somehow I missed America. I just never seen them. And America was on there, and they were so great. And I never saw Don Felder from the Eagles. His show was so incredible. And I saw Uriah Heep and just all these bands that I just somehow missed growing up. Yeah. And so it was just like 4 days of just going to like the most amazing concerts. And I love that there's a theater, there's a deck stage, there's pubs, there's like little venues where you see people in different settings. And it makes it really fun.
I guess there's a schedule and it tells you what time each band is performing and where they're going to be performing. Is that how it works on the cruise?
Each band plays 3 out of the 4 days. So we all get 1 day off to just chill and relax. And so you have 3 chances to see your favorite band, or 3 times you can see them. If you really love them, you can see them 3 times. And then you have 3 chances to see other bands. So everybody's got their little thing, they're working out. And sometimes I'll see half a show and then run to another show and, see another show.
And it's all part of the cost of the cruise, right? There's no other tickets or anything involved.
No, once you get the fee, once you get on the ship, you see every show, you see everything. Every meet and greet is free. You get, and if we go to port, we get off and have a, high overpriced drink on the island and then get back on,
When you look at it, it's kind of cheap because, if you go to a concert nowadays and want good seats, you could be paying $300-400 just for a seat. And then, if you want to do the meet and greet, forget about it. You can pay $1,000 for one night. So this is a great deal.
It actually really is. I've seen people say, oh, it's expensive, but there's more expensive cabins, there's less expensive cabins, but you're absolutely right. And the meet and greets to see each band and get a photo, and they're so gracious. I mean, it is a value. And I think, it's so worth it, to see all those bands and to be a part of that experience. There's also a great, really good vibe on the ship. The cruises that come on that, they're all just super cool.
Now, where does this ship launch from? Is it launching from Florida?
This year, we're actually leaving out of Orlando.
Orlando, okay.
Yeah.
And where is it going?
I gotta look again. I think it's going to Belize, but I gotta look. I can't remember. I actually can't. All I know is it's going away from my house and out in the ocean, and I'm psyched.
I got a really quick funny story about Chris Stein, from Blondie. Mm-hmm. I met him on his tour bus to do an interview, and they did a benefit that was like 10 minutes from my house here in Florida. And I was on the bus with him, and he looks at me. He says, "Now, what kind of show is this? What kind of benefit is this? Where are we?" I mean, he had no clue where he was, what he was doing.
Right, exactly. That's the life of the roaming rock star. It's like that video of Roger Waters from Pink Floyd going, "Where are we going? We're walking, we're walking." And there's somebody walking him. "We're walking, we're walking." It's funny because sometimes you get to town and you're just like, "What are we doing?" Somebody just tell me what we're doing, because so much stuff's happening. But I mean, I try to stay on top of at least, my schedule and, what city I'm in. Before I go on stage, I always write down notes like, okay, who am I going to thank tonight? And think about the people that helped us during the day, or the radio station, or, it's always good to get in touch with the people.
Well, your live shows are fantastic, man. And you're an awesome guitar player.
Thank you so much.
I want to talk about Neon Highway Blues, which was your last release. It's on Amazon. I gave it 5 stars, by the way. I loved it.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Some of the tracks on there, Under the Rug, if Top 40 was only like it should be back in the day, that would have been a hit. That's a top 40 hit, man.
Oh, thanks, man. I think it's got a great hook to it. I always love that song, just playing it and having Eric Gales on it was awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of Allman Brothers in a way.
Yep.
I hear hints of Allman Brothers on that song.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, because the way the chord changes is, I love seventh chords. Like I love writing around, like just that,
Yeah.
It has that funky kind of thing, but when it goes to the chorus, show me the love. It's all major chords with a 7. And then it does that little riff. Which to me sounds like Jeff Beck. Like, because I grew up listening to Jeff Beck, and I always feel like that was his sort of, if I play,
There you go.
Don't sue me, Jeff. I love you.
What are you playing there? That's not a Strat, is it?
It actually is. It's a it's one I've had since 1997.
Wow.
And it was the first time that Fender came out with a double humbucker. Look at that baby.
A double humbucker, really?
It's got 2 humbuckers, so it's like a Les Paul hiding in a Strat body. But it has a 5-way switch, so I can get the I can get the rock, or I can go to the neck and warm it up.
There you go. Yeah.
I can even get the, that sort of out of phase sound, little Mark Knopfler kind of sound, but I love this guitar too, because it doesn't have a tremolo on the back. It was never routed, so you just put the strings right through the back.
Right.
And that hardtail sound, especially for a 3-piece, it just has that powerful sound. And I grew up playing Les Paul. I played Les Paul for 15 years when I was young. So, the bridge, I'm used to that Les Paul sort of feel, but I still love the whammy bar and everything. But this particular one was called the Big Apple. In 97, I got this one.
Is that the original color?
Yeah, it was called Shoreline Gold.
Oh.
And, I got to tell you something about this guitar. I mean, I've had it since 1997. I don't know. Right. That's close to 30 years.
Yeah.
And I can't scratch it. I can't make it look old. I play this thing so much. I played it for years, and whatever they did on the finish, it was like the nicest Corvette you've ever seen, or Ferrari or something. They must have put 15 coats of lacquer on it. I really don't know, because I can't break it.
Unbelievable. Where'd you buy it?
Well, I've been a Fender endorsee since then. That was given to me along with, many other Fender guitars, because I started playing Fender. I started playing Les Pauls, and I was playing Hamer guitars when my career broke. When I got the hit with Hocus Pocus. If you watch that video on MTV, I'm playing Hamer. And then Fender kept coming after me going, "Hey man, you should come over to Fender." And I love Fender, but again, I didn't like the little single coil pickups. I wanted the fat sound. So when they came out with that guitar, they called me up. They go, "We have a double humbucker guitar." I go, "I'm on my way."
Wow.
And that year I started playing Fender, and then I went on to do workshops and clinics literally all over the world. I went to Asia, and did, lots of clinics teaching, gear and guitar stuff and amps, and teaching people how to get a better tone,
I had a 74 Telecaster, and I sold it because it was I think I paid $350 for it back in 74, and I
Wow.
sold it for like $4,000 or $5,000. And I had all these
Amazing.
autographs on it, and I had Johnny Winter, Eric Burden, Alvin Lee, a million autographs. I kind of regret selling it now, but that's how I got publishing my book. I'd used the money for that,
Good. You turned it into something good. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
good. You turned it into
exactly.
something great, man. Good for you. I know. I paid $450 for my Les Paul. Can you believe
Wow.
that?
Wow.
Back in '74. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I bought 20 and put them in a closet.
How many guitars do you got now? I mean, most guitarists have like a ton.
I have a ton, man.
Yeah.
I don't like to brag or anything. I mean, I probably have 30 or 40 guitars,
Jeez.
because I've been playing for so long, and
Yeah.
I've, played with different companies, you know what I mean? I still got some of my Hamers and then I have a bunch of acoustics, and I've been playing a Dobro resonator guitar lately.
Huh.
On the Neon Highway Blues, that song, Boxcar Blues, it starts off with the resonator.
Mhm.
So I started getting into that. Speaking of Johnny Winter, he was one of my big inspirations.
Yeah.
So I have lots of different kinds of guitars too,
Wow. That's the only Gibson I ever had. I had a Gibson Flying V once. It was black with the white pick guard, and then I sold that too. But because I could get, it was a good investment, and I sold it. But I need to buy a new guitar. I'm due.
Good. Yeah, man. It's time, man. You got to get one.
I know. I hurt my wrist.
If you need any help, let me know. If you need any suggestions, you probably don't need my help. But if you do, I'm here for you.
It's got to be light, because I got double surgery on my wrist where I play. And so it can't be a heavy guitar. It won't work.
You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you. I like light guitars now too. My back, my Les Paul is one of the heaviest guitars I have, and it did me in, man, in the '70s. I got wah wah hip and and Les Paul back.
You're not ready for a new hip, are you?
No, I'm doing good so far. But this guitar is actually really light. That's another reason I love it.
Yeah, very cool. Some other tunes. Mercy of Love, Heavy Blues. Josh Smith is on that one. Another incredible track.
Yeah, great guitarist, Josh.
You play great slide. I heard you on Your Kind of Love.
Oh, thanks, man.
Don't Come Crying with your son, Ian.
Yeah.
Well, how cool was that to have your son playing alongside you, huh? How old is he now?
Oh, the best. He's 20 now, and he's going to Belmont in Nashville, Belmont University, and studying music, go figure. But that album, he played on Don't Come Crying to Me, which was nothing to do with his allowance or anything. And it was funny. I was thinking about it one day. You just think about these phrases. I always listen to people talk, to try to come up with song ideas. I'm always sort of, my ears are always up, my antennas are up. And one of my sisters one day said, "Don't come crying to me, you did it to yourself, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Don't come crying to me, and I was just thinking about, my son. There was times when I'd give him money and I'd be like, hey, make it last. And he'd come to me, Dad, I got no more money, so I'm like, don't come crying to me when your money's all gone. But he did a great job on the guitar. I kind of tricked him, actually. He came in the studio because I'm a producer.
Right.
So I'm like, I got him all hooked up, and I like to make people feel comfortable. So I'm like, hey, let's just try out some tones and see how it sounds. And, and I hit record. I didn't tell him, I just said, let's warm up. And sometimes I tell people to warm up, and if they don't know the red light's on, they play so differently than when I go, okay, you ready for a take now?
Yeah.
So he played some stuff off the cuff, and it was pretty cool.
Now, he was 16 when he played on this track, right? Was he 16 when he played?
Yeah, he was 16. I can't even believe that when I think about it. Wow. Because he's so much better now. He's like, oh my God, he's light years ahead of that now.
So what's his ambition? Does he want to be a musician, like full time or anything? Or
he does. He wants to be a full-time musician. I told him, man, you don't know what you're getting into, man. This business is tough, kid. But he said, and I jokingly said, you know what? I said, Ian, if you love what you do, man, double your pay, because if you can do your life and grow up playing what you love and play music, it's a blessing. So of course, I'm going to help him out and be there for him, and try to give him a break in the industry. And he's a nice kid. He's super humble. And, but that's what he wants to do. And, he's different than me. He's really his own man. I try to get him to do stuff, and he's like, well, I want to do it like this, Dad. So I'm like, okay, you got it. And he's a big fan of John Mayer. He loves John Mayer, who I think is a great guitarist.
Right.
And he's a big fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan. And he's played a lot of my music over the years, but he he has a different style. I've noticed he's a little more jazzy than me. He's a little more, melodic and stuff. Not as metal or heavy as some of the stuff that I do. But I'm excited to see what he does when he comes out of school.
So you play acoustic as well?
Yeah, matter of fact, he plays really good acoustic. Because John Mayer, he got into it and really started practicing a lot of the John Mayer stuff with the finger picking. And,
right.
And I've really noticed he's got a great rhythm style now. And even in college, he's got a classical teacher teaching him like classical music. And at first he's like, Dad, I don't need to learn classical. I said, no, do it, man. It's great music. And then now he's into like Tchaikovsky and Beethoven. And so, it doesn't hurt to listen to everything, right?
That's right. Well, he's got a perfect name, man. I mean, how many Ians make it famous in rock and roll? I mean,
I know. I always loved that name, Ian. I always thought it was a cool name.
There's so many. And Ian Hoey, I mean, you can't beat that, man. That's a rocker name all the way,
Yeah. Ian Pace. I love Ian Pace.
Ian Anderson. Yeah.
Yep. Ian Moore is a good friend of mine. Great guitar player.
Yeah. Still Believe in Love. That's a fun song. That's a 50-ish kind of dance track. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. I love that song. It was a quirky song that came to me kind of at the end. And is that the one that Joe Vitale's playing drums on? Is that Still Believe in Love?
I'm not sure. I didn't have the breakdown of everybody,
Yep.
Was Joe playing on that?
Yeah, Joe Vitale played. He played drums and he played organ. He plays really good organ.
I didn't know that.
He plays incredible Hammond B3. Crazy.
Joe's such a nice guy. We swapped books. Did you get his book?
I have his book. It's sitting on my shelf back there. And Joe Vitale, for people that some people probably don't know, he played with Joe Walsh. He played with the James Gang?
Barnstorm. Yeah.
Just such great music and touring. I think he even filled in. Didn't he fill in like with Crosby Stills on a tour or something?
He did.
He did. Joe's the man, everybody. Joe Vitale, I love you, Joe.
And his book is cool because it's got so many great pictures in it,
He's like a legend. He's such a legend. And when you meet him, he's just the most humble guy. You know what I mean? You forget what he has done.
Yep. Him and Kenny Passarelli, they part of the other portion of Barnstorm. I've had Kenny on too. Those guys are great guys. They really are. Waiting on the Sun. Great title. Mesmerizing instrumental track.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I love that song, and I came up with the melody. It's funny because I came up with the melody of that song, and the guitar thing, it has this cool little chord thing where it goes, it's going from like a basic A chord, and then I play that F, A, D. I'm down a half step, so I'm actually a half step down. I apologize. But if I go... It's like a haunting melody. And
it is.
I always love that chord going back to Led Zeppelin. I always get excited about chords. And when they used to do that, it's the same chord.
Don't you love that?
Sue me, Jimmy, love you. But that's what happens to me. I get inspired. Yeah. And then when it does that, it goes to the F to G, and it goes back to the major, and I go... And then when it goes to the F, I go. And then when it goes back to the A, I go to the major third. I love that sort of teeter between the major and the minor sound. But that's one of my favorite songs.
I love it. Thank you, man. Like you said, Zeppelin with the Rain Song, one of my favorite tunes. Trower does that a lot too. He plays with those chords. I love it. Really, really love it. That's a great tune. Almost Heaven, another beautiful track.
Another instrumental, yeah.
Thank you. Waiting on the Sun, we just mentioned.
Yep.
Let's see. I wanted to mention one tune that I thought was another. Could have been I Felt Alive. That could have been another big hit. Those are the two top 40 hits. Where I Felt Alive and Under the Rug. Those are the big hits.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I Felt Alive. I really was thinking about that too. Like it had that kind of chorus that I thought had the, a catchy hook for sure.
Great slide. I was a top 40 DJ. That's why I mentioned this back in the 70s and late 70s.
Wow. Well, you have a good ear, though. I mean, you definitely
Yeah.
have a good ear for what, because you're picking the songs that I was picking. So I'm like, okay.
Damned If I Do with Lance Lopez.
Yeah.
Another
Love Lance
favorite of mine.
Lopez. Thank you, man. Yeah, that was going to be the first single, actually. We ended up going with Under the Rug, but that was originally going to be the first single, was Damned If I Do. Damned If I Don't, which, has become one of my favorite songs lately, especially with COVID. I'm like, damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't.
You wrote all these songs too, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote all the music and the lyrics, and I've been writing since I was a kid.
Wow.
And so I've been honing it over the years. I love having collaborators, when I can, but sometimes I'm stuck doing it by myself. I have no choice.
And then once in a while, you just gotta play a cover tune, right? Because they're fun.
Exactly. I love cover songs, and obviously Hocus Pocus broke my career. And when I did In the Summer 2 soundtrack, I did Lowrider, and I've done a lot of remakes. And I just I love taking old songs and trying to reinvent them a little bit, and add something new to it.
Right.
And when I was coming out being an instrumentalist, I wanted to play something that people would be familiar with too. So they might go, oh, okay, I know that song, and I'm gonna listen to that. So maybe they would listen to some of my other stuff too.
You mentioned Hocus Pocus. I think it's kind of funny. I can never pronounce the lead singer of Focus. Do you know how to pronounce his name?
Is it the guitarist?
The keyboard player who sings Hocus Pocus.
Oh, you know what? I only know Jan Ackerman because he's the guitarist, and so I'm a big fan of his. I can't remember. I know I can't think of it right now, but they're like a Dutch band, right? They're from Holland, right?
They're from Holland. Yeah.
Yes, and I met Jan Ackerman when I played Europe with Beth Hart. He actually showed up at my show.
Oh, cool!
And
very cool.
Kind of blew my mind. He came up and he's like, "Gary, it's Jan Ackerman." I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And we played Hocus Pocus on stage that night.
Really,
So
that's awesome.
It was kind of like a dream come true for me, growing up listening to them.
But he kind of committed himself because if you watch him on the Midnight Special, first he does the yodeling thing, then he whistles, and he can't do a lot of that anymore. So,
wow, yeah,
especially the whistling, and the real high pitched sounds. He has somebody else do that, but you do it on the guitar, so you're good. You're golden.
Yes, I was like, I'm not going to yodel. I'm just going to take a wah wah and go wah 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 wah. That's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it, And then Tony Franklin played bass, which made it even more special.
Awesome.
And Frankie Benelli on drums. God rest his soul. Love you, Frankie.
Yeah, I had Frankie on the show, man, and he was doing so well. He says, "I don't have any symptoms. I feel great."
Oh, good, man. Well, I'm glad
so
you
sad.
had him on the show.
What a nice guy.
Terrible, sweetheart of a guy, man. And so there's some, he's up there jamming with some people up in heaven, I'm sure.
And you and Frankie were in a band together, right? One of your first bands.
Yes, we had the band Heavy Bones.
Right, Heavy Bones.
Yeah, we did one album, which was a really cool record, and. And we had a great album, and it just came out at the wrong time, unfortunately, man. The grunge thing had hit, and we were just at the wrong time. The 90s were coming, and we were kind of a little late. So the album did not do what I think it would have done at a different time, because the fans that have heard it still to this day come up to me, and they're like, I love that record. So it's just, it goes to show you timing can be everything.
Is that on YouTube by any chance?
The album's up. Yeah, the album's up on YouTube. You can see a bunch of the songs up there, and we have a video called 4 a.m. TM, which shows Frankie and all of us. I think it was the only video we actually did, and that is on MTV. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna actually put the video on all my sites as well. I want to promote it.
Awesome.
It deserves it.
Cool, man. Thank you.
We were talking about Zeppelin and Trower, living the high life. I heard a Zeppelin riff in there, and I heard a little bit of Robin Trower as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely a Zeppelin riff in there, because I love those kind of riffs that Jimmy Page would write. It was just that kind of, just the way the guitar, I haven't played that song in forever, but. Yep. I don't know if that's the riff, but it's just, and then the drums come in. It's just, I don't know. I always love that sound, just of a riff. And Robin Trower, huge influence on me. So much of an influence in the way he puts guitar sounds together.
Yeah.
There's a song I have called Deja Blues from the album Deja Blues, which is a very Robin Trower song. And it's turned out to be probably my biggest download of almost anything in my catalog. It's really weird. So I love his sound. I love his sound.
I like the way, the sound of your guitar, and I don't know what kind of hookup you have, but it reminds me a lot of Robin Trower, because, he's got this hookup that sounds a little bit like yours. How complicated is yours, your hookups?
Well, my main pedal board's sitting way over there. I can't get to it right now, but it's, what the pedal that I picked up, man, that I swear is one of the greatest instant Trower sounds is everybody had the Phase 90 growing up.
Right.
But there's a pedal now MXR makes called the Phase 95.
Okay.
And it's a little mini pedal. It's only one of those mini ones. It's not even a full-size pedal. But I'm telling you now, man, if you put that thing on, you put it at 12 o'clock.
Right.
And just hit it. There's two buttons. One, I think the light goes blue. One, the light goes red. But if you put it on blue, it's 12 o'clock. It's instant Robin Trower. It's
really?
like instant Robin Trower. And it has this like sweeping sound to it. And then the other pedal I use is a flanger. I'll kind of combine the flange and the chorus,
right?
And the phase, and that gives you again a deeper kind of Robin Trower. So any flanger pedal, like the Van Halen one, but the one I use is it's by Toadworks, TOD, like a toad, like a leaping toad, and it's the guitarist from Heart, Howard Leese.
Yeah.
Howard Leese, if you think of the beginning of Barracuda, with that flanging sound, Howard gave me the pedal, and I gave him one of my signature pedals, and we traded pedals, and it has not left my pedal board. It's awesome, and it's called the Barracuda.
It's called the Barracuda.
Yep.
I got to get it.
It's called the Barracuda, and I don't even know if they're hard to find. They might be, but you got to find one. Don't tell your listeners till you get one on eBay.
Okay. All right. I know Roger Fisher. I talk to him from time to time. He's
nice
a good guy too. I love all those guys,
Talented guy, man.
Yeah. Sometimes I think they don't get enough credit. It's always the girls that get all the credit, and without the guys, there would be no girls. They started the band.
There was a band, and there was a sound of the band. Period. And I'll bring it up because we did a rock and roll fantasy camp with Nancy Wilson.
Oh, did you?
We did a camp a while back. We've done a couple with her, and until you play all those songs, you don't remember how great they are. Like we did, 10 different Heart songs. And it was just on and on and on. And I was going like, Crazy on You, the arrangement. What's the other one called? I don't know if it's
Magic Man.
Crazy on You. And then the Straight Up, I think it's Straight Up or something.
Straight On. Yeah.
Straight On. Oh my goodness. What a great song.
Yeah.
And just, we went through the catalog, and I had a whole new appreciation for how amazing their music was.
Yeah.
And their band arrangements were.
Yeah. Michael's one of my, Roger, not Mike. I'm thinking of Michael Fisher, his brother. Roger Fisher is one of my favorite guitar players. And like I said, I don't think he got enough credit. Now, I was so happy to see him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the original band together. I almost cried.
It's wonderful, man. You know what? It's amazing. But you know what? Let's be real, bro. If you're in a band with two hot chicks, okay, I'm telling you right now, you ain't going to get enough notice to probably even get interviews. So the poor guys in there killing it.
True.
It's like my mom said, don't go up against, hot-looking girls, cute little animals, or cute children. You're going to lose, my mom said. If you go up against cute dogs, little kids, cute kids, you're going to lose.
By the way, I saw your mom, I think, on Facebook, on your Facebook page. She looks like a sweetheart, man.
Thank you so much, man. We do coffee time with mom.
Very
which
nice.
I started over the pandemic. We were stuck at home, and I started just hanging out with mom every day. And I said, Mom, I'm going to put you on Facebook. You're so cute. And we started going on live. And she's actually brought a lot of people joy. And I get a lot of messages from people saying that I love hanging out with your mom. And that's fun. So I appreciate that.
I was very close with my mom. She passed 3 years now, I think. But she was 93.
Sorry to hear that.
And I still have my dad. My dad's 96. So I'm blessed to, have had him that long,
That's awesome. God bless him. Wow.
Yeah,
96.
Man.
That's awesome.
But I love it that you're so close to your mom. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks,
And,
man.
well, you finished the album with Neon Highway Blues, the title track, another great tune. Like I said, I give this album 5 stars. It's a wonderful, wonderful album. And
Thanks so much, man.
so when's the next one coming?
The next one is coming, man. I have a bunch of material that I'm real excited about, and I'm kind of, this is really the time that I'm finishing it up right now, and I've been writing over the last year, and I'm hoping, I'm talking with Mascot Records, which I've been working with for the last record, and talking with them and my management and trying to get a date. We just got to get a date now to say, okay, this is the date, and I'm hoping March or April. But I don't know yet, so I'll definitely let everybody know through my social media and everything when we think it's going to be.
Is it going to be a lot like this album, or what do you think?
I got to tell you, it's going to be different. It really is, and I think it's just because I don't know if it's because of what we've been through, but I've been writing a lot of music that's I don't even know how to explain it. It's more rock, it's definitely more rock, and there's more guitar craziness, from losing Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, I want to write some crazy guitar stuff. And so this record, and it also has what I consider some more meaningful songs to me that are heartfelt songs. And it might not necessarily be a blues record, but it's going to be a lot of blues feeling on it. And I have some songs that I just really can't wait to finish because they just have a message behind them that I want to get out to everybody. And then I wrote a song when I used to hang out with my mom on Coffee Time called Coffee Time with Mom, and we do this funny little blues, and it's like one of those. I wrote it in like 20 minutes. I'm like, Mom, here we go. And it kind of goes, it's that time of day when you need to take a break,
Oh wow.
It just does a little on and back, send your troubles away. It's that favorite time you see. It's coffee time with Mom and me. And so I wrote this song, and me and my mom, I'm going to drag her up in my studio, and I'm going to record this song with my mom, and get her singing on it because she sings with me on my live stream. And then I'm going to make a little music video of her like in the studio with the headphones on and the Neumann mic, and I want to make a video of my mom singing the song with me. So that's going to be on my new record.
You know what? That's the next hit right there. That's a great song you just did in 20 minutes, man. That's incredible. I love it.
Thank you so much. Well, you know what? It came to me because I was just sitting there. I was thinking about my mom, and the second verse is fun. The second verse, it goes, have a cup of joe, a cookie or two, some decaf is fine, maybe some tea for you. And it goes, good conversation to pass the time away. Then it goes, it's my favorite time, you see. It's coffee time with Mom and me.
Is this a regular, like a show that you do now, or you're going to start this process?
Well, we've been doing it actually for the last year and a half. So there's a bunch of episodes that are on my Facebook page, that are on some of my video past videos, and then I've got a couple things on YouTube, and I'm going to transfer them all over to YouTube because I know a lot of people like YouTube. So.
Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. You're going to get a lot of hits from that.
And we have so much fun, and I do funny things, like I come on the show and I bring her jokes. I tell her jokes to make her laugh, and they're usually hokey and silly. And then we do things like, I ask her questions because she's old, she's lived a long time, and we do things like Ask Mom, and we just have fun stuff.
You know what you need to do? You need to get some of your rock friends' moms on the show with your mom. Let them,
you know what? It's a brilliant idea. It's brilliant. I love it. I love your ideas, man, because it's funny because I have people that watch the show with their moms. Right. But I think that's a great idea, is to have some moms as a guest, like, Tony Franklin's mom or someone that, hopefully they're still around. We can bring them on the show. That would be great. I'm doing it. Thank you so much.
Let them do a little round table, talking about their sons and their rock and roll careers.
I love it. Exactly. What it's like to have a son in rock and roll. That's great, bro. And how many times we all got kicked out of the garage. And, my mom used to let me play in the basement in Lowell, Massachusetts growing up. And the pictures would fall off the walls. We'd be playing Black Sabbath, and she'd be like, you guys need to calm down.
I know the Pink Floyd lyric, you bought a guitar to punish your mom. think about that because, I had these big Vox amps in my room, with my Fender, and cranked it up, to about 7 or 8. But they never complained. They were cool
Yes, and
about
my
it.
mom supported me a lot, but I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times, like, you get mad at your parents. You do. They don't want,
Right.
you get pissed. And I remember going down in the basement and just rocking out with my guitar. Like when my family would make me mad, I would just be like, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna get out and rock out, and it was good therapy.
That's funny. When were you born? What year?
I was born in 1960, and I just turned 61 actually this year.
See, we're about the same age. I was born in 59.
Okay, cool.
And I'll be 63 this month. So yeah, we would have been in high school together,
We would have been right there, but happy birthday. You look good, bro. You're living good.
Thank you. You do too.
You don't look near 63.
Look at you, man. You look, 38, 39?
You're all right. All right, I'll send a check in the mail.
Gary, here's a question I ask everybody. I get some very interesting answers, okay?
Yep.
If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Wow, huh? That's amazing. That's pretty amazing, man. I mean, it'd be cool to like play. I mean, obviously to play with Hendrix, like everybody probably wants to do that. Like I'd love to have a jam with Jimi Hendrix just to play a blues in a bar, just something laid back. Not like a big giant concert, just to play a blues in a bar with Jimi Hendrix would be so cool. And even like now, touring and doing things. I mean, to play on stage with like U2 would be so cool because I love that band. That would be like a dream come true to play with U2.
Very cool. Yeah. And you got Jeff Beck. Have you played with Jeff Beck? Have you guys jammed together?
We jammed together.
Cool.
We jammed together, and we did a lot of backstage just hanging too, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the interesting answers I got, you're not going to believe. Petula Clark told me Pink Floyd. She liked to play with Pink Floyd.
Wow.
Robin Trower, I thought he would say Jimi Hendrix. He said he'd be too afraid to play with Jimi Hendrix. It would be James Brown.
Nice.
Because he's got a lot of R&B influence, I guess, in his music. And of course, I get a lot of Paul McCartney's.
Yeah, that definitely flashed through my head too, man. Paul McCartney, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Playing with a Beatle, yeah, that's like
exactly.
A dream too.
Gary, anything else you need to promote or chat about?
No, man. You know what? I just want to say, it's great to be on the show. I appreciate you supporting, all these artists, myself included, and I just want to say I'm looking forward to, getting back out on the road and keeping the touring going and getting to see everybody out there and come out after the shows and have some fun.
When is your official touring again start? I know you got the cruise coming up and things like that, but what about playing at different venues? When does that start again?
We have some shows coming up. We have some things on the books that we haven't actually announced yet, that we're trying to get some routings and see if we can get enough shows to make it all work.
Right.
And then we're doing a festival in Sarasota, New York, coming up, I think in March. I got to look at the dates. So yeah, we're starting to kind of map some things out and doing some runs like down the East Coast. So we're going to go to Texas. We're going to go to the Midwest, like Kansas and Lincoln, Nebraska, and places like that. Cool. We're going to come back to Florida and do a nice little run down in Florida again, because I was there in October, and I'm going to come back.
Awesome. I want to say special thanks to the wonderful, wonderful Nicole Hoey for arranging this interview. Did she manage you at all or anything? I mean,
my wife Nicole has been handling, a lot of my business for a lot of years, and
awesome.
She's great at it. She does a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and is really good at it. And people love working with her. And a lot of the promoters and stuff will give us like pizza when nobody can get a pizza out of anybody. And Nicole will call them and they're like, "You got the pizza, the deli tray, it's all there." I'm like, "Wow."
Awesome. Wives are good at that, aren't they?
Yeah, women just have a way on the phone. You know what I mean? They just have a way of making people feel good. And Nicole is awesome. So thank you.
Most of the PR people I deal with are women, and I've been dealing with them for years. They're wonderful. They're great.
Yeah, women are more detail oriented. I got to say that out loud. Women are more detail oriented, and they sometimes just stay right focused with what's got to get done, and they don't miss little things that like I just space out. So, yeah, I think women are pretty awesome.
They've got more patience too than we do. That's for sure.
Yeah, they have patience too, and they're motherly. Like my mom, she's just so cool, and And I think that's what it's like my mom, I didn't know she had OCD growing up. Like she used to be so obsessed with every little thing. She's like, who turned that doily? I'm like, turned the doily? How do you know the doily turned? She's
it's
like,
all across, it's across the room, man. How can
yeah, she goes, it was facing the picture over there. I'm like, wow, you're obsessed.
That's funny.
And then she started swinging and I ran.
Moms are wonderful, man. They really are. You can purchase Gary Hoey's Neon Highway Blues. That's available at Amazon.com. And I just want to mention all your wonderful, wonderful websites. www.garyhoey.com. That's your official website. You're on Facebook. The Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, www.rockcamp.com. If there's still time to book on the Rock Legends Cruise, you can go right to their website, www.rocklegendscruise.com. And I've also listed your discography on all my websites as well, so they can see the history of all your music, and they can. Thank you
so much, man.
Live and learn, and I do that for every artist. I think it's very important.
Appreciate. I know I saw some of the stuff for your past guests, and I was like, wow, this is like you do a really awesome job.
I stream too. Now I'm streaming on everywhere. You mentioned Apple and iTunes, everywhere. We're all over the place now. So awesome. It's all about good music. We don't get enough of that anymore. So
yeah, I agree. And it's nice to have these outlets now to get your music to different places and streaming and all that stuff. I just think it's great. I mean, a lot of people complaining, I'm not complaining too much. I feel like streaming gives people a chance to find out the music is there. And some people that can't even afford music, man, they can just stream it, and music's good for the soul. So if we're helping you heal through music, take it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, being an ex-DJ myself, terrestrial radio sucks.
You hear the same songs on the way to work that you hear on the way home.
Exactly. I mean, there's, and they're all owned by like 3 or 4 conglomerates, and that's the problem. There's no localization.
They call it programming, right? They program the playlist and everything. And I get it. And don't get me wrong, I love a lot of radio people. I have so many friends in radio still, DJs that I love to death that have been here from the beginning, like you. Right. You're a DJ too. But unfortunately, you guys lost the freedom you had back in the day. Exactly. When you could play a Sly and the Family Stone and then play something completely different like Captain of Tennille, and we'd be like, what? Yeah. And it would be all over the place, but that's how music was. You could discover brand new things, and it wasn't like cookie cutter and genre driven. And but now we have the freedom to go where we want, listen to what we want. And I still do radio interviews. I still do 150 radio interviews a year because I love going out and getting on the radio and talking to my old friends. And I don't care if I'm in, Terre Haute, Indiana, I get on the radio, and just because I think that medium, it's still there. And I like to still do it.
Where are you from originally? Because I detect like a hometown type voice.
Yeah, I actually grew up in Massachusetts, Lowell, Mass.
Yeah, that's where it's from.
Massachusetts, was my my hometown. Yeah, and I moved out to LA. Yes, my accent is here, man. Now that I'm back home, it's getting even worse. If I have a couple of beers, forget about it.
Forget about it. What's the word you always use? Wicked, right?
We use wicked, and if we combine wicked awesome like you are,
wicked awesome.
That's a double one. So you're wicked awesome.
Love it. It's so cool to have these phrases that are dedicated just to the state.
It really is. We have our things, and it can get on a run. You can go, that's wicked awesome. It's totally. I'm gonna park the car. I'm gonna have a couple of beers. I mean, it can keep going.
Yeah, always reminds me of what's his name, Mark Wahlberg. And his family. It's
Mark Wahlberg. It's the movie The Fighter. That was my family. Yeah. The Fighter. Yeah. That's my family with Mickey Ward.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
Great movie. Those are my sisters. With the hair.
Yeah. That's funny.
I'm gonna rip her hair out. That was my family. That was my family growing up. My mom actually, I was talking to my mom about it. She knew Mickey Ward's mom and the sisters.
Really?
My mom knew her.
Yeah.
And used to hang out with her and everything.
Very cool. Yeah, you got to get all the moms together. That's going to be that'll be incredible.
It's gonna be sick. Mom fest.
Yeah. Look how many years people love Betty White. there was a tremendous love for her all these years. It was her personality, and to be 90, what was she 99, and she still loved.
Still loved to this day, forever immortalized. And because I think old women, old people that still have this spunk and that are sassy and have that kind of cool sarcasm and that humor, and can poke fun at themselves. I think it really makes people happy. It brings people together. I don't know what it is. You going back to the old lady that said, "Where's the beef?" When she used to open the burger. Her. I loved her. She passed away, but it was just like people fall in love with that.
Me too. I agree with you 100%. Gary, thank you so much for being on the show today, man. Good luck with the upcoming tour. That's not out on your page yet, but we're looking forward to that. Have fun on the cruise. You're going to have a great time. I know it. And maybe one day I'll see you at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. I'll work my way up to it.
Yes, I hope so. Thanks so much for having me on the show. And if anything comes up and you want to come out to camp, you have any questions, you have my email, you have my cell, reach out to me, and I'm here to help in any way I can.
All right, Gary. Thank you so much, man. Keep on rocking, man.
You too, brother. God bless you, huh?
All right, you too. Bye-bye.